We know how much you guys love listening to our stories, but did you know you can also listen to more stories, books, and podcasts on audible.com?
Say what?
Listeners of Storylords might enjoy the comedy sci-fi series Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's about a regular guy named Carl who's thrown into a big old dungeon crawl to save humanity from aliens, which are real. Do your own research.
And I've been listening to the High Republic Star Wars series for months now. And I've been listening to...
I am partial to iRobot
Okay, go, your turn.
because it helps me set my boundaries with organic beings.
I like to read magazines that judge people's decorating tastes. Oh yes, okay, you go. Do they do those?
Audible lets you listen to your favorite series while you're driving or just chilling at home at any speed you want. And there's tons of books and types of literature to choose from. I like the book. That's audibletrial.com/storylords. Sign up for a trial today and help support your boys, the Storylords. Aww.
Welcome, Story Squires, to a special, extra sexy episode of Storylords. It's our 69th episode. We're recording
69 dudes!
Nice.
We are recording naked. That's the thing we've done.
How is that different?
Yes.
How is it
Yes,
different? Yeah.
This time, yeah, sure.
But we're Storylords, the prompt-based fiction podcast with 2 prompts, 3 stories, and infinite laughter. I'm Rich, and with me, as always, is Josh
Hello.
and Jeff.
That's my dick talking.
Oh,
69 dudes.
Jeff, your dick sounds sad.
He's tired, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm always just beating the shit out of him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, well, he does owe you money.
And jizz.
White gold.
Texas sea.
This week, our prompts were candles and psychics. And I'm going first this week.
Oh yeah, we had prompts, right?
Uh-oh.
My episode this week is called, and I hope I don't cut out at the end of every sentence this week,
We'll pretend.
Good
We'll
so
pretend.
far. Yeah.
Burgundy and Neon 2, Waxing Lyrical.
What?
Like some fucking like Led Zeppelin lyrics or some shit.
The title will become clear very soon. The dingy room smelled of bad coffee and crazy stories, if crazy stories smelled, and the way Detective Brad Atchie reacted to this one made him think that maybe they did all right. Next to him, his veteran partner, Stan Cross, sat cross-legged, ironically.
Wait, is that ironic?
No, it's not.
It's coincidental.
Coincidental. Stan had replaced his recently deceased partner, Jim Shoeberry. Jim... It's just a stupid name. I love making up stupid names.
You're really good
best.
at it.
Jim had been a decent enough partner, but you couldn't bring your partner back from 18 gunshot wounds after complaining your kickback from that drug lord was light that month, so Cross would have to do. Stan's eyebrow hadn't been this high since his ex-wife Tracy told him she had been banging her personal trainer behind his back while he'd been earning an honest living. Well, he was a cop, so a living at least. And he hadn't smirked... And he hadn't smirked this wide since he'd had her new boyfriend's car towed and planted that cocaine in his gym locker. Yeah, he was petty. Yeah, he was abusing power. Yeah, he'd probably suffer consequences in the long run. But Stan imagined his litre of whiskey a day habit would hopefully see him into an early grave before Superintendent Accountability would catch up to him.
A liter a day?
This dude is a lightweight. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
He's double
He's not
Irish.
Irish. Am I right?
Oh, no. Everyone went for the same low-hanging fruit.
In truth...
Because Irish people are short.
They're short gooseberries. In truth, Stan was as solid as they came. He worked hard. He wasn't no clown or nothing. And he was mostly honest. And in a town of bent cops, that's all Bradley actually could really hope for. Stan lit up another cigarette. his 31st of the day. He tried giving up tobacco for vaping, but to be honest, it felt like he was giving RoboCop a blowy every time he put that stupid thing in his mouth.
And the problem was?
See, I mean, I might start vaping now, right?
What if it was like that thing that he has behind his fingers that he stabs that guy in the neck with?
Oh, that thing's awesome.
Yeah, but you don't...
Hand?
Yeah, it's
You don't
the funniest
want that
thing
going
about
off
that
in your
is-
mouth.
Do I?
Don't I?
The funniest thing about that is that's just a way to interface with computers.
Yeah, you just make it a fucking spike.
4 foot long spike to interface with computers.
What could go wrong?
And he wasn't no dick sucker, not even for Tom Selleck in Blue Bloods. Hand on closeted heart.
Oh, don't get me started about Blue Bloods.
Please don't.
I'll move swiftly on. A single bulb hummed overhead, throwing a flat light over the table. The laughable frame of Madame Celestia sat on the other side of the table, her jewellery clinking whenever she shifted. The purple ruffled collar she insisted on wearing looked like she had escaped Jurassic Park and was about to spit acid in Newman's face.
I'm gonna run you over when I come back down.
See, that was his problem. If he hadn't have threatened them, they wouldn't have needed to defend themselves.
You know, those aren't real. I mean, they're real, but they don't have this.
No, they don't spit, yeah.
They're actually like twice that size. They're like 3 times the size as well.
And raptors are like
half the
smaller,
size,
which
yeah.
is stupid.
Yeah.
What the fuck, John fucking Michael Crichton?
It's not Crichton, it's Spielbergo.
True.
Brad tapped his pen against a blank notepad and gave her a look usually reserved for when the words Rob Schneider is prefixed a movie title. Let's go over it again, he said. You're saying this woman came into your shop with a case, and then Celestia folded her hands with dignity that wobbled at the edges. Detective, what happened next was nothing less than a metaphysical event, a tearing of the veil, a moment when worlds touched and fate itself bent under the pressure of truth.
Jeff's ghost phone.
Yeah. Oh my god, don't remind me.
Stan stared at her. She didn't try and cut your head off, did she? It's relatable. I've been in your company 10 minutes and I want to murder you as well.
Damn.
Celestia's rings clinked against each other as she spread her fingers in a wounded gesture. Really, must you be so crude, Detective Cross? You make it sound like some sort of bar fight. I'm telling you, this was cosmic. Brad leaned back, sighing. Lady, cut the mumbo-jumbo number 5 shit and give us details.
Rest in peace.
We've got real cases too. The beginning, she declared loudly to talk over him, was an ordinary week. Ordinary customers. Ordinary fraud surrounding crystal healing. Then she walked in. It was just this morning, a Thursday, about 8:30. I explained for the record and also in case anyone is listening who may need the detail for expositional context or an occasional wiki update.
Ah.
That's smart.
CC Malamite.
2 birds, 1 stone.
My shop smelled of lavender incense, sandalwood, and if I'm slightly honest, the faint odour of boiled cabbage farts from the vegan diet cleanse I had been on for 2 weeks.
Oh my god.
It's a level of honesty we're not used to.
I hate this person.
My God, sometimes I think I'm going to poop out a whole intestinal tract.
Ugh.
What? Stop eating the cabbage.
Get on with it, Stan growled. The lighting was dim, as it should be, except where the bulbs had blown and I hadn't yet convinced the landlord to fix them. All around me, shelves sagged under the weight of gemstones and skulls carved from resin. Little trade secret. Resin looks just as convincing as quartz, is half the price, and the jilted women rubes who visit can't tell the difference. The shop...
Damn.
I'm learning on this podcast.
This is Business Tips by Rich Masters. The shop was closed on account of my unforeseen digestional distress. Oh, that's a really fucking hard word. Digestional distress. There we go.
Tongue twister. It's a butt twister.
Unforeseen. Aren't you a psychic, Madam Xanadu? Brad smirked. And Stan chuckled along with him. Not exactly a great advert for your business there, is it? There came a rapping at my shop door, the sort that didn't take no for an answer. The woman at the door was tall, unsmiling, her hooded coat the dull brown of damp cardboard. The hair underneath a luminescent blonde that seemed to almost be juxtaposed against her demeanour and fashion sense. We're closed. I'm being visited by malignant spirits today, I said, holding my stomach and overpronouncing so that she could hear me through the downpour. Without a word, the woman pulled a fistful of folded notes from her pocket and waved them in front of the window, like I was to be beckoned with it, akin to some cartoon cat smelling a fish. So, naturally, the deep respect you had for this woman's in-need aura meant you opened up the shop, right? Stan nodded. Mm-hmm. Girls gotta eat, Brad shrugged. Unless it's cabbage vegan cleanse, I guess.
Oh my god.
I opened the door.
You can smell it from here.
I opened the door and let her in. Do you know what it smells like? An old people's home.
Don't tell me.
Man, don't.
I gotta go into old people home all the time.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
do
want to be
I.
thinking about that.
I opened the door and let her in, dripping wet all over my polished floor. She dropped her coat to the floor with a splat and walked past me to the counter. It was then I noticed she had some weird guitar case, a large one, which she sat on my counter with a heavy thunk. I got it. She was possessed by Glenn Miller, was she? Or maybe it was...
Is Glenn Miller a drummer?
Yeah, well, it was a brass band guy. Or maybe it was John Lennon putting right his canonisation when he was just a filthy domestic abuser, Stan laughed. Appointment, the woman said. Not to me, but aloud. No poetry, no hesitation, just that single graceless word, dropped into the air like a lead weight. I smiled as one who had seen countless pilgrims stagger in from the desert of the mundane, and followed her to the counter, placing it and the shotgun underneath the counter between us in case she wanted some sort of refund.
Damn, this is psychic. She don't fuck around.
She
man.
foresaw there was going to be a problem and found the solution.
Hopefully she first saw to load it.
I wouldn't count on that.
Oh, no.
Yes, an appointment. The stars have told me. You didn't foresee this, believe me. The interruption sliced me mid-incantation. I tilted my head coy. Well, perhaps the spirits then. Nope, they didn't send me either. Imagine my position, detectives. Here was a woman who would not dance to the rhythm of mysticism, would not even let me start the performance. It was like staging Hamlet for an audience determined to shout, "He's behind you," every 5 seconds.
Bitch, get out of the room!
I will admit, my dear detectives, I inherited this shop and a cauldron full of debt after my mother died. She was a simple huckster, and until this morning I was too. But I possess the showmanship, the elan, and this fucking twat was ruining it. Still, I persevered. Naturally, I said with the most gritted professional smile, there are tiers of service. For $35, you receive the Tourist Spirit Package, Aura Cleanse, Basic Zodiac Bookmark, Allergen-Free Dreamcatcher. Her face remained unmoved and lifeless, the expression of an anti-vaxxer's kid at a 10th birthday party knowing their time is ticking down.
Wow. Do they, though?
For $45, I pressed on, you may upgrade to the Platinum tier, rune reading, spirit guide introduction, and a crystal to protect you against the ills of social media karma.
Do that one!
That was when she opened the guitar case lid between us. I arched forward, expecting perhaps a vintage Fender, maybe a mandolin or a lute, something bohemian at least. Instead, she lifted out a small glowing stone tablet, cracked across the surface. It was the size of an iPad, glassy and shimmering with blue light. The candles around my desk almost bent towards it, their flames straining like sunflowers towards the sun. Crystals rattled on their shelves. The resin skull at my elbow began to sweat. Even I was impressed.
Ew.
The woman set the tablet down between us. My name is...
C-ball.
It's an all C ball.
My name is Dorothy, she whispered, still not making eye contact.
That's real. That's a real name.
Totally her name.
I think this is going to help with your problem. I was just about to ask her which problem. My chronic singleness, my psoriasis, the fact that Netflix keeps cancelling good programming after one season. But
Oh my god, don't even fucking get me started. Now I gotta watch Blue Bloods.
But before I could, she grabbed my wrist and forced it towards the stone. As I tried to fight, weak from cabbage cleanse, my hand brushed the tablet and it thrummed. Not like an iPhone buzz when your annoyingly sexually active sister texts you her conquest updates with 15 emojis of an eggplant. No, this was this was deeper, resonant.
Does each eggplant represent like one guy? Or?
Yeah, is it one guy or
one
time?
doing it? I don't know. I don't know what their relationship's like. We'll have to wait, see if it comes up.
You want to be a good writer, you're going to need to figure this out, Rich.
Yeah, editor's note. Please expand upon this part so I can expand my part.
Yeah!
No, this was deeper, resonant, like a heartbeat dragged up from the ocean floor. I swallowed. My throat felt dry, as if I'd been gargling with cat litter. This is remarkable. Truly remarkable. The last time I felt a vibration like this was Stan Cutting deadpan, those lonely Saturday nights when you sit on your washing machine.
Rough.
Brad snorted, trying to hide his grin
I
behind
saw that one.
trying to hide his grin behind the notepad. You have to understand, detectives, though my mother was said to have the gift, along with some questionable parenting techniques and a number of STIs from her days of rent-paying promiscuity, I have always been as dry as a bone when it came to prognostication. The only thing I could read from palms were the indents from my vibrator, and the only messages on high I ever got were from weed paranoia.
Oh my god, they can all hear my thoughts.
The inscription, if I may, I said as I traced the glowing cracks with one trembling fingertip. Strange symbols pulsed along the surface, shifting between alphabets, cuneiform, hieroglyphs, emoji, yes, even the eggplant one again. And then I saw the image of a chrome and green skull with horns and a golden goddess fighting him.
Yes!
Is it shaking anything loose? Can you see anything? The woman said impatiently. Before I could answer, a sound rose from it, low, layered voices like 100 librarians whispering at once. Words crawled into the air, thick and sticky. The cycle is broken. The creators come to wipe clean. Restore what was lost. Find the alternates. The tablet spasmed, then belched a flash of pinkish light that sent my shells rattling. My crystal healing starter kits cascaded onto the floor in a clatter that sounded, frankly, less mystical and more like a Walmart looting gone wrong. Stan cut her off.
That's like oxymoron. Nothing can go wrong. It's already wrong.
Stan cut her off again. Lady, if this turns into a sales pitch for your Patreon, I swear to Christ. Brad leaned forward.
That's storylords.patreon.com.
Brad leaned forward, squinting. Wait, so you're saying this tablet wasn't just glowing, it was talking, literally? Celestia sniffed, her voice dripping superiority. Of course. Do you think I would confuse a metaphysical proclamation with an Alexa or something? No, detective. This was cosmic. It told me to find the alternates. I think it meant an alternate me. Stan raised both brows. What? Like you had to go find yourself? Jesus Christ. Narcissists these days don't even stop at selfies anymore. They want to summon parallel versions of themselves.
Damn.
Who are you? I whispered to the woman who had come in and made my side hustle a very real and dangerous one. What the hell have you brought in here? The woman lifted her head and regarded me with wide, desperate eyes. I looked at her face. She'd used far too much shimmery gold foundation. It was a complete rookie mistake. You don't even recognise me a little, do you? I felt the excitement of the tablet leave me faster than the Epstein client list, or that totally 100% real hole in Trump's ear. Where's it gone, eh? Where? I studied her face, something familiar in those soulful eyes. I don't... Just try again, the woman said to me, obviously disappointed. As my hands touched the tablet, every candle lit at once in a roar of flame, and I found myself in the middle of a tornado of fire, drawn to the shapes, their light, their heat. Before I could touch them, Dorothy grabbed my hand and electricity passed between us, some sort of connection. I stuttered. Fucking Mills and Boone in here. You can tell it's episode 69, Stan Hist.
Jesus.
The air broke. A crackle of electricity that stank of ozone and battery acid. It tore our attention to it, a window that had opened between us. The portal screamed wider, sucking the warmth out of the room. My breath fogged in front of me and the shelves shook like a dog trying to shit out a porcupine.
Oh my God!
You paint such a picture with your words, Rich.
Have you tried a cabbage cleanse?
Then came the tentacles. Thick, black, slick, like Satan's prolapsed colon had come for a visit.
Have you tried a colon cleanse for the Satan?
For the Satan?
One whipped across the counter and splattered resin skulls against the wall. Another coiled around my ankle, unwelcome and cold and clammy, like being groped by Prince Andrew in a buffet line.
Why is Prince Andrew at a buffet?
He's at, he was at plenty of buffets, but they were for underage women, apparently.
Ayo!
Fuck! I screamed, thrashing. The tentacle hissed back in a voice that wasn't a voice, but was a million whispers. We know you, Michaela Keynes. Fraud. Pretender. Run, little seer, run. I froze. My real name. No one used that anymore, except the debt collectors. Before I could process it, Dorothy moved. Her case snapped open and out came her weapon. Not a guitar, not a sword, but a fucking keytar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew it! I knew it!
A bastard child. A bastard child of disco and murder. She slung it across her chest, fingers slamming the keys. The first chord of Blunderbuss by Jack White ripped out as not a sound, but as a cone of metal bearings that sliced through the tentacle holding me, spraying black ichor that smelled like a dead skunk left out in the sun. What the fuck is that? I shrieked, pushing myself up from the floor. Dorothy ignored me and smashed another chord, Bring the Noise by Public Enemy, and the wall of screeching sound shredded the limbs clawing at the ceiling. Get on your feet, love, you're better than this. She swung it like an axe, blade flashing. I thought we were fucking done with this hentai bullshit. The tentacles roared, surging harder, straight towards me. They wanted me, they knew me. One wrapped my neck and pulled me towards the aperture. I clawed at it, slipped, kicked. Dorothy slashed again, but she couldn't reach me in time. And that's when I saw the candles, dozens of them, all burning higher than they had any right to, flames bending towards the portal. I reached for one as I was pulled forward, knocking it to the floor and snuffing it out. The tentacle released my throat and my hand rushed to it. There, I gasped, choking. They're the anchor. Blow them out. Bit busy with keeping us alive, she replied. So it fell to me, which is how I, Michaela Keynes, spiritual fraud, failed daughter, professional cabbage diarrhea haver, spent the pre-apocalypse frantically blowing out tea likes like a prostitute trying to pass a breathalyzer test.
Jesus!
I sprinted.
The imagery. The
Why is she
imagery.
taking a breathalyzer? Are they checking for cum?
I mean, she's definitely drugged up. She's definitely had alcohol. I sprinted shelf to shelf, huffing with the lungs of a chain smoker. One puff, two puff, gagging on incense. A tentacle whipped at me and I countered with the only weapon I had, a dream catcher pulled from the shelf. It actually tangled in the strings. It screamed something about appropriated symbols before Dorothy chopped it in half.
Yeah.
Finish
So
it!
wrong. Yeah.
Finish
That's
it!
fair.
Dorothy roared, fingers hammering a brutal solo that manifested as a chainsaw of pure noise. I haven't blown this much since college, I screeched back. Nearly losing an eyebrow to another candle before being swatted across the shop and into a bookshelf which rained the paperback wisdom of $12 profits down on me. I looked up in a daze. The woman was swinging wildly, the burgundy velvet doublet she wore underneath her dark coat shimmering in the dull light. Familiar, somehow. She wasn't going to win. The tentacles were like racists on social media. Chop one away and 3 more grew in their place.
Hail Hydra.
I looked around for the last candle, but it was on the other side of the room. The tentacled miscarriage of Lovecraft's browser history between me and victory.
What?
I couldn't do it. I was just a fraud and a failure. And then I looked down at the books around me, the magic tomes. I picked one up. The Art of the Air, How to Master the Elements That Shape Our Emotions. It was perfect. Fate had handed me the tool I needed. With these pages, I could find the power I required. I stood up and threw the book as hard as I could.
I knew it.
Watching as it pirouetted in the air as it threaded the space between the tentacles and hit the table the candle was happily sitting on. Just as the tentacles wrapped around Dorothy's head, the candle hit the floor and snuffed out unceremoniously. The portal imploded. Tentacles shrieked, snapping back into nothingness. Dorothy's final chord echoed, reverberating like God's own middle finger, and then silence. "Third grade softball, bitch!" I shouted. "And they said I lacked the muscle mass for team sports. Fuck you, Mrs. Holdsworth."
Mrs. Holdsworth.
Proved her wrong.
I fell to my knees, chest heaving. Black slime dripped down every wall. My shop was wrecked, my stock, my inventory, my everything. Dorothy lowered her keytar, strings of goo dripping off the blade edge. She stood in the wreckage like a victorious gladiator who'd accidentally fought in the candle aisle at TJ Maxx. Her chest rose and fell in heavy gulps, and for a moment the only sound was our breathing and the tick, tick, tick of wax dropping to the floor. She gave the room one last look, then brushed herself off with a casualness that felt insane. A smear of black smut across her velvet coat, a chunk of tentacle on her shoulder. She flicked it off as if it were dandruff. I knew this woman. Had known her somehow. Another life, maybe? She was dear to me, though I didn't know her. As important to me as anyone I had ever known. How? Dorothy slung the keytar back into its case, snapped it shut, straightened. She turned, blinking through the haze of incense smoke and plaster dust. "Hey, you did well, she started. But I wasn't there. The only thing I'd left behind was the ringing of the shop's doorbell. Michaela Kane sat straighter, quieter, a hollow calm. Stan leaned back, lighting a cigarette, eyeing her through the smoke. "So let me get this straight," he said, leaning back, chair creaking like a deathbed. "You and Barbie with a bassoon took down a cosmic calamari by playing Bon Jovi, then you ran here." He gestured with 2 nicotine-stained fingers. "Lady, what you had was a panic attack mixed with bad vegan shits. You imagined it." I opened my mouth, but Brad jumped in. Rookie nerves, twitchy pen. I don't know, Stan. Her description of the portal, the voices, it lines up with those reports from Brad. Stan didn't shout. He didn't need to.
Uh-oh.
The air bent around his voice, heavy, oppressive. "Don't be stupid." The rookie shrank, lips tightening like a kid watching porn on the family iPad. That's not an Evan story. Just to clarify that.
I was going to say, Evan.
Something about the way he said it chilled me more than the tentacles had. His voice doubled, like something behind it was whispering. Stan's shadow on the wall twitched the wrong way. Stan leaned forward, exhaling smoke directly into my face. Except the smoke didn't drift up. It curled downwards, heavy, spilling over the table like liquid. so wrong, my stomach turned. There's no portal, no monsters, no dead girlfriend sending love notes from the void. No Mookie, just you, his lip curled. A lonely fraud with a wig collection and a talent for stealing gullible women's lunch money. That's all you are, isn't it, Michaela Keynes? My old name again, said so easily, like it was written on my skin. I tried to laugh it off. You sound like my therapist, except he didn't reek of cancer and failed alimony payments. Brad rubbed his temple, visibly unsettled. Wait, how'd you know her real name, Stan? She didn't even... Shut up, Brad. Stan's voice cracked, a hairline fracture revealing something black beneath. The fluorescent bulb above us buzzed and spat, shadows writhing across the walls like worms in a frying pan. Don't let her story infect you. Don't be stupid. I swallowed hard. For the first time in years I wanted a cigarette. Something normal, something that burned only once. And that's when the buzzer of the interrogation room went off. Not possible. The interrogation room was buried in the back, 2 locked doors away, but it rang, clear as a hymn. A voice followed, bright, cocky, echoing down the hall. Sorry I'm late. Traffic. Demons. Same thing really. The door creaked open, and there she was, Dorothy. Guitar slung across her back, arrogantly. She looked at me, looked at Stan, and cracked a golden grin sharp enough to cut my glass. Miss me, love? Stan rose, not stood, rose. His body went up, but his shadow stayed seated, grinning wider than his mouth ever could. Well, shit. So you all remember. He didn't sound surprised. He sounded pleased, and that scared me more than tentacles ever could. You should have stayed dead, Mookie. Brad shot to his feet. Stan, what the fuck? I was elsewhere, not gone, not vanished, but cracked open. My name, Michaela Keynes. Peeled away like dead skin. A name thrummed in my blood like a second heartbeat. Mookie. Dorothy stepped fully into the room, heels clicking like gunshots across linoleum. I felt it, my body, my mind, the name Mookie thrumming through me like an electric pulse. Michaela Keynes was half gone, leaving the old fraud's costume behind. I was something older now, something sharper, a combination of all my lives across the omniverse. I remember dying and living, a bug and a human, a she, a he, a they, and everything in between. Why had I come back? The memories fizzled through me. Familiar as a childhood lullaby I'd forgotten I knew. Dorothy smiled, but she wasn't Dorothy, not anymore. Her face was the same, but her eyes burned with golden recognition. Doots, I whispered. Stan's eyes flicked towards the guitar, but there was no fear there, an odd recognition, and then a smile that was wrong. He lunged for me, and Stan drew his service pistol and shot the thing until his clip was empty and the room was filled with the echoing click of the trigger. Stan's...
I have to write a report about that one.
He's a white policeman. No, he won't.
Well, he killed another cop, is the thing.
He looked black to me.
He had a shadow.
He had a shadow. It was black.
Stan's body lurched back towards the corner of the room, but he wasn't dead. Stan just smiled, slow and venomous, and melted into the corner, his body stretching into the shadow until nothing remained but the smell of burning ash. What is he, Doots? I whispered. Did the technomancer send him? The words seemed to unlock something in Brad, a vague recollection he couldn't place. Why do I know that name? Why does this all seem so familiar? Doots smirked. Because my twin brother is the most colossal prick in the entire universe, Brad. But... She looked at me. It's not him, Mooks. It's something worse. I stared at Brad Atchie, the detective who I had no recollection of in any life. Doots, who is this? She grabbed my hand, and it simultaneously felt like both being home and so alien. Despite my unease, I squeezed it in return. I don't know. He's an anomaly for some reason. We need him. She played a sweet candescent tune that opened a portal of pure gold, and through it they could smell trees and sunshine. Come on, she beckoned. You both need to be caught up. Brad shook his head. Wait, no. Why? Why me? You guys clearly know each other, but you don't know anything about me. Why me? Doots turned and sighed, as if the words in her chest would crush him. Because, Brad, last time it took like 10 of us to stop the world, and a few of us dying, but in some other realities, in some other verses, the realities we don't exist, there's only one other person that stops the Technomancer and everyone else that he's connected to. She slowly lifted a finger and pointed it to him. Brad actually gulped and stepped through the portal with them. One last look behind at his world. The end.
That went off the goddamn rails.
Woo! Not gonna have to write that report after all.
Yep,
Portal
he's
out.
gone. He's gone. The only good cop in this reality is now left.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yep.
You can tell this is fiction because is there such a thing as a good cop?
Yeah, there is in this reality. It's a different one to ours.
All cops are Bradley. A cab.
But Burgundy and...
That was great.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
that
I'm
was
glad to-
incredible.
Burgundy and Neon was the first title of the first Mookie and Doot story.
Oh, my memory does not go back that
No,
far.
I don't. I'm not
I didn't
surprised
think
by
we
that.
started titling them until like episode 50.
Well, some of us
At least
didn't.
I did.
Some of us did, yeah.
I'm not gonna point any fingers.
Don't
that
say
was
it.
that was really fucking great.
Oh, cool. I'm glad.
We were like not saying anything because that's when you know it's good.
But it's not the Technomancer.
What is it?
What is it?
I'm not...
Sex scromancer? Hentai? Is this your foray into hentai? Are you just like
I do love a tentacle.
Is
What
this
am I
like
gonna say?
boiling the frogs here?
Is
Yeah.
this like a Capcom sequel, Technomancer X?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Edgier than last time, more guitar music.
Or guitars.
All the villains are going to be named
When he
after
said
animals.
he recognized. When he said he recognized the guitar, I was like, yeah, it's because it's from the 1984 Jump video. Dude.
Dude said my twin brother.
Yeah, because, Doots and the Technomancer are twins. They were created at
Yeah,
the same
true.
time.
Yeah, true.
yeah.
But who
I
were
never
they
thought about it that way
created
before.
by?
That guy,
God.
the Apple guy, the guy from the Apple store that you have.
Jesus.
Apple Jesus.
Stupid Apple Jesus.
Well, I guess we'll see. I've got like 7 stories, I think, so far that need a conclusion. I'm doing a proper Josh on it this season.
I was gonna say, where'd you learn that one from?
A little bit of copyright infringement.
I better tie some of these up soon.
Do you though?
No, I don't really.
Can you just keep doing this for multiple seasons?
Like whatever. That's the journey.
Yeah, who's to say if any of these stories are relevant to the actual stories? We're in a world of alternate realities.
Yeah, it's like if there was proof that you really did exist, like in infinite realities, like why would this one matter?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Also,
Like, fuck it.
in infinite realities, all stories tie into the story.
True.
Exactly. Guys, Ghost Train is here because we're recording. Thank you, Ghost Train. You hear it?
No.
No, I can't hear it. Interestingly, Rachel was listening to podcast earlier and she said, I had to fast forward a bit of Jeff's story because there was some sort of machine going off in the background. And I was like, it was a lawnmower.
Yeah, it was absolutely a lawnmower. There was nothing I could do about it.
Jeff records at a John Deere factory where they test the lawnmowers.
I'm really about to do like a book repository on these fucking lawnmower people out here.
It's gonna grassy.
It won't be grassy.
It'll be grassy for sure when I'm done.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Right. First part done. So my duties are done for this week, so I might just stick my microphone on mute for 2 parts.
Oh,
I'm
no,
only joking.
not
I'm
again.
just joking.
Not again.
Not again.
We'll be right back after this brilliant piece of music. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to tell a story of one of my favourite things that happens just as we're about to record.
Oh my god.
I put my headphones up to the mic and say, here are my headphones. And Jeff, without fail, seems like he's one-upping me, but I know he's not. But he does do this thing where he says, here are my headphones for part 2 of episode 69, like he's trying to be super helpful. It makes me feel shitty.
Man, if only in one of these stories there's a joke about something like this. I wonder if we'll get to some kind of psychological realization about what's going on over there, Rich.
I am sorry.
No, you don't. You don't really make me feel shitty.
He's only doing it because he is telling me.
Yeah, I do it on M class when you're not here as well.
Well, Jeff, now that you mention it, whenever you do it on M class, I'm like, is this motherfucker one the fuck upping me?
It's true. The thing is, I am doing it on purpose because I am a massive dickhead. So there is that.
I don't really think you're one-upping me. It's just one of those things that's like, fucking damn it, why didn't I say part 2 or something helpful?
Yeah, that's why I say it, man. You don't gotta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nick does it too when we do continue quests. He always forgets, and then I do what Jeff does. So, and I'm not one-upping him. I'm just
keeping it neat,
being helpful.
This was probably very interesting to our listenership.
I'm glad we recorded all this.
We're back!
This little window into our psychologies on this podcast.
We are back for part 2. I'm going to hand over to my lovely friend, Jeff.
Fuck you. The title of my story is, unsurprisingly, The Candle Cousins in A Legacy in Emerald.
Oh, it's like an Indiana Jones.
Gee whiz, Chris. Grandma's house sure is well kept and beautiful, Peggy Rickenbacker said with stars in her eyes, glancing around the plastic-covered living room furniture with awe usually reserved for the American flag or the newest Backstreet Boys solo project. AJ was next to drop an album. She could just feel it. She continued, nodding approvingly. There's no way Grampy ever had the physically correct her on her housekeeping.
Oh my god, that's dark as fuck.
God, you're boring the non-existent balls out of my dick, Peggy. Wait, did you just say physically correct her? What the fuck? Christiana Blackheart Malaria Blood Wraith said with an upturned black lip, disgust creeping across her painted white features. Anyway, this is Aunt Gertie's house now. Nana Rickenbacker has been dead for like a year. She wouldn't even have gotten to hear the new Motion City soundtrack album. That's so sad.
She's up in heaven now, listening to it on her Discman.
Peggy and Chris were seated on either end of a long wooden dinner table with a dozen decrepit old wooden chairs lining the sides and ends of it, each one with their own multiple doily-covered place setting. Their respective families had come back to Nana Rickenbacker's home for the first time to celebrate the anniversary of her passing, something that Chris had called metal as fuck, and Peggy had felt weird and gross about since she'd first heard about it. Why would you celebrate someone dying? What day had Nana made it to heaven specifically? Did she go by jet? They probably have a heaven jet by now since America traded arms technology with St. Peter since the Cold War against the communists and their best friend Satan.
That makes sense. That's what I learned.
They should have picked that day. Well, Aunt Gertie actually stays here with her best friend from work, Carol, too, Peggy said happily, kicking her feet back and forth in her too tall old wooden chair. Aunt Gertie and Carol are together, numbnuts. Carol's come to, like, every Christmas for, like, your whole life. What did you think was going on there? Chris rolled her eyes and began to rap out a drum solo on the edge of the table, trying to entertain herself until dinner came. Nana never had a TV, and especially didn't have AOL. Not even MSN. Fucking old Biddy probably churned butter for fun. Well, no duh, they're together. They're sitting on the porch together right now, Peggy responded with a matter-of-fact chuckle. Jesus, Chris muttered to herself.
Slap her, Slap her.
The only thing they spend more time sitting on than that swing is each other's minges, Peggy. They're a couple, Chris spat out. What's a minge? Peggy said with a tilted head. I thought I heard Uncle Jiminy talking about that once. Something about it being too expensive when it's under red lights? I can't remember. Anyway, Peggy changed the subject quickly enough that it made Chris wonder if she knew exactly what all of this meant and was repressing it. She guessed they'd all find out in 10 years when the breakdown does or doesn't happen. Peggy continued.
Either going to be a stripper or a church stripper?
While we're here, we may as well go see about Nana's old things. She said she left us everything in the old closet in the attic. Maybe it'll aid us in our never-ending journey to save the souls of the dearly departed. God, you make murdering ghosts sound so lame, Chris groaned out. We're not murdering them, Peggy yelled in childish frustration, but Chris had already stood up and was walking towards the stairs. Peggy leapt up and followed suit, running across the high shag-carpeted rug in an even gait. We help their souls get to heaven, duh. Don't you ever read your Bible passages from the special Bibles they give us at church?
What's the special Bible?
Sorry, I just don't think Rush Limbaugh should be the arbiter of God's will. Sue me. I don't even think he wrote the Bible, Chris said with a roll of her eyes. Besides, God isn't even real. They just made him up to sell action figures like He-Man or whatever. You gotta grow up. He-Man is real? Peggy lashed out, angrily pouting. She caught herself a second later and meekly added, and so is God. He's more real. He could use the power of 2 Castle Grayskulls if he wanted to, even. You girls get ready for
helping his best friend He-Man.
You girls get ready for dinner soon. We're having boiled beef, boxed potatoes au gratin, and sauerkraut. Middle America on a plate. The voice of Peggy's.
You guys had cabbage today.
The voice of Peggy's mom called from the kitchen. Oh boy, my favorite! Peggy clapped her hands together in excitement. If I jumped off the roof right now, I could at least eat hospital food when I woke up. They have both salt and pepper there, Chris muttered to herself, trying to decide if the injury would be worth it. We better hurry up to the attic then so we don't miss dinner, Chris. Peggy latched a clammy hand onto Chris's and began to yank her up the stairs, taking them 2 by 2 in her Hello Kitty tennis shoes, leaving Chris to stumble and catch herself every other step on her cheap, creaky pleather boots with 2 miles worth of shoelaces strung through them in multicolors. The only color in her whole outfit, really. The attic was filled to the brim with old things. Things Peggy could marvel at for the rest of the week and never get tired of. Things Chris wouldn't notice if she stubbed her toe on them, which would honestly be pretty impossible with her giant fucking clodhoppers anyway. The duo waded past old boxes of magazines, photo albums covered in 1.5 feet of dust, old furniture piling up against the walls, even a signed velvet painting of Elvis Presley that had faded, though the signature wasn't fully legible. It definitely said something about unbelievable head game and was signed by Elvis himself and Nana, but neither could make out much else.
Nice.
It's like Elvis, baby, you got unbelievable head game.
But at the back of the room was the real prize awaiting them. There, illuminated by dozens of shafts of light dipping and diving their way past all the junk in the room from the grimed-over windows at either side, was a heavily ornately carved closet door, with one of those faux diamond handles old people's houses always seem to have only one of on one door for some reason.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It glittered in the dancing dusk sun. There, our inheritance at last! Peggy cried out melodramatically, pointing with her whole arm outstretched. If this wasn't being written in the year 2025, you could imagine the things that Chris would call Peggy for showing that level of emotion and dweebiness. Instead, she just shook her head and shoved Peggy out of the way as hard as she could, causing the smaller girl to smash into a bunch more old chairs piled up on top of each other haphazardly, and for all of it to tumble to the floor with her. What's going on up there? Stay away from my hustlers! A deep, angry male voice called up the stairs after them from the distance. Uncle Jiminy was unmistakable with his rasping-ass smoker's lung voice.
Stay away from my minge bags!
It somehow always sounded like he still had the CPAP machine on, even when he didn't.
Damn.
Nothing! Stop being a fucking creep and talking about nudie mags to preteen girls. I'll call the cops, Chris screamed back out the door and down the stairs. Fuck, these kids are fucking law savvy these days, Uncle Jiminy spat out.
Wow.
Savvy.
Jiminy
His voice,
Cricket.
his voice disappearing into a melange of grown-up voices wearily chit-chatting downstairs. By this point, Peggy had dug herself out of her chair-ridden grave and was standing next to the closet door at the back of the room unceremoniously. Do you want to open this or not? I can do it by myself if you don't want to. Chris could see she had pushed Peggy a little too much. She nodded, pulling back the attitude at least 10%, the best she could muster. I do. Let's get it over with. Maybe Nana left me a gun.
Well, she did put you in danger. Didn't they get the candle from her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe it's a ghost gun.
Peggy gripped the door handle and suddenly felt an intensely familiar feeling in her gut. She took a step back. Wait, right there! Without another word, she took off at a full tilt run out of the attic, past Chris and down the stairs. Chris stood dumbfounded in her wake. Damn, she's hitting the shitter this hard before the boiled beef? I feel sorry for her tonight. Woof.
Oh my god. It's gonna smell like Rich's fucking
Cabbage.
crystal shopping.
Yeah.
But in the silence that followed, even Chris felt a cold tingle up her spine that told her something wasn't right here. She became uncomfortable and shifted from one foot to the other, staring around the room at the shadows slowly twisting and turning in the sunset light from outside. Every movement pushed her heart rate up slightly further. Here, Peggy called out, running back into the room with her backpack slung across her shoulder. Chris, feeling an intense relief wash over her, instantly lashed out. Why did you take so long? I was fucking dying of boredom up here in Nana's crusty old bullshit. I wasn't scared at all, though.
Yep.
Look, Peggy cried out, throwing the backpack onto the ground and yanking a familiar and mass-marketable prop for ages 9 to 14 out into the open air. A small golden candle holder gleamed in the brackish firelight of a perfectly waxy and tall green candle which sat atop it, aflame and wafting towards the closet in front of them. Wait, how did you know the candle was lit? Chris asked genuinely, narrowing her eyes. I don't know, I just did. But this means that Nana left us a haunted closet. Maybe there's a spirit inside that needs our help, Peggy said with renewed vigor and excitement, having wiped the fuck out in a stack of chairs a minute ago, not dampening her spirits at all. Boom! Before another word could be said, the closet door in front of them swung open violently, slamming against the wall and shaking from the force of it. Peggy and Chris flung their heads around to stare, now seeing into the object of this entire journey before them. The closet had several old jackets and dresses hanging in it, including an extremely beaten-up old leather jacket with gouges in it. But the focal point of it all was a strange stone shrine in the middle of it. Nothing at all around it on the floor or stacked in the back. It was about 3 feet tall and cylindrical, with a wider base and a huge divot in top of it like a water basin, with a slight cutout into one side of it. The girls stared, silently for a moment or two, both of their hearts beating up into their throats from the jump scare that totally got the audience too. Fuck you, LOL.
Look, I pissed a little, I'm not gonna lie.
What is that? Chris finally broke the silence, taking a step or two closer to get a better look. It still didn't look like anything she'd seen before. Peggy began, stepping around Chris and turning over the candle she held from one hand to another. She tilted her head a little, closed one eye, and smiled broadly. It's a candle holder? Holder! Peggy, did you eat paint chips as a baby? Did they forget the basketball and just dunk your soft, spongy little baby skull over and over? Chris asked flatly, her face a grimace. No, look! Peggy knelt down into the doorway of the closet and held the candle aloft, slowly placing it down into the basin on top. Not only did the candle holder slide into the hole as if they had been made for one another, much like my dong into your mama's ass meat last night.
Wow!
But the slight cut into the edge of the concrete fit the finger ring of the candle holder so perfectly that the whole thing slotted in all the way without a hitch, just like my rigid-ass dork into your mama's cavernous anus hole.
The matter-of-factness of penis hole.
It was very,
Perfect.
it was very clinical. I wonder if we're eventually just going to start getting a textbook out and describing it.
Jeff did have to go to the clinic.
I did get into your mom's mons pubis recently, so... There was a small click as the candle settled into its pedestal, and as if on cue, the front of the pedestal split open and a small shelf slid out from what a moment ago had seemed to be solid stone. Chris came over and knelt down next to Peggy, the two girls exchanging looks in silence, before she gripped onto the edge of the stone drawer and pulled it all the way out. Sitting comfortably inside of it, small and frayed but lovingly kept, was a leather-bound journal with a small intricate carving of a candle on its cover. Across its lap was a band of leather which looped through a small metal lock and enshrined the entire book, protecting its contents. "Is this Nana's old journal?" Peggy asked with wide eyes and fingers reaching for it. "Yeah, but it's locked and shit," Chris said flatly. She pulled the journal out and turned the stone-fronted drawer it had been in over, shaking it up and down. "And there's no goddamn key in here. What the hell kind of story is this? It's page 5. We gotta read this shit." Peggy lifted up the green candle into the air to try to get a better look at the lock, and something unbelievable happened. The small carving of the candle on the leather book cover began to slightly shimmer at the touch of the green firelight. The girls watched, entranced by it, as the leather strap simply fell out of the lock and drooped to the side, the lock falling away to the other side as well. The book was suddenly open and waiting in Chris's hands.
That book's haunted, man. I ain't reading that shit.
"This is getting a little too magical for this type of story, isn't it?" the audience said in unison. No one heard or cared.
True.
I love how you put your insecurities directly on the page.
I was thinking about it when I was writing it. I was like, oh, that's a good idea for a joke, actually.
Yo, you gotta lead into that one.
Peggy gingerly took the journal from Chris and opened it up, revealing the weathered old paper of the first page. She peered over the perfectly neat cursive lettering inside of it and began to shakily read the words as written. "Dear Journal, today I got my back blown out by the king, but he didn't live up to the name if you catch my drift. His tiny pecker was, all right, maybe we don't read the first page first. Maybe she meant for us to read, the last entry, yeah? Like a farewell message or something? Anything?" Chris interrupted, taking the journal back from a confused and blank-faced Peggy, who didn't really understand what she had just read out loud. The final page began with a much more clear missive. "Hello, my wonderful granddaughters. I knew you'd be able to follow my clues and find this journal before too long. I imagine I've died very recently, given how smart you both are, and you found this close to my funeral." Peggy and Chris shared a pained look with one another, and then went back to reading. "I left this journal for you to learn from my mistakes. I'm writing it on my deathbed, so please excuse any spelling mistakes. Also, I'm a little drunk and high, but don't tell Peggy and Christy." Peggy and Chris shared another pained glance. Any hoozle. As you may know by now, the candle you have in your possession is no ordinary candle. With it, women of the Rickenbacker line can see and feel the woe of a spirit that's trapped on our world, unable to cross over the next. It's our family's sworn duty to aid in the crossing of these sad specters, to bring them eternal peace when and how they seek it. I left this to you because I understood you two were the best and brightest in my family line. My daughters were too busy banging the boys who worked at the Tasty Freeze at your age. Or I guess in Gertie's case, the girl next door who knocked every boy's teeth out who asked her out. Told ya, Chris interrupted, a smug smirk on her face. After 50 years of setting souls to rest, I guess it's finally time for mine to rest too. That's what all this cloak and dagger is for. I won't feel ready to pass on to the next side until you two girls are well and truly ready to take on this burden for me. To that end, I've included my final case file here. Read it and take it to heart. Love you, Peggy. Love you, Christy. You are my legacy, and I believe in both of you so much. As long as you work together, you can achieve anything.
Thanks for all the
Signed Nana
responsibility.
Rickenbacker. Signed Nana Rickenbacker, Peggy whispered. Nana's still here? You're here, Nana? Chris asked, a little freaked out. A brisk, sudden cold breeze blew through the closet from absolutely nowhere, causing the green flame of the candle to twist and skip at the end of its wick. Then just as suddenly ceased to be. Oh shit, I've been cursing so much. You're in trouble, Peggy said with a wide, vindictive grin. The candle flickered again. Okay, we better read. This was important to Nana, Peggy said with determination in her eyes. Both girls pressed their shoulders together to lean over the book and read at once, and instantly began to follow along. From the case files of Jeannie Rickenbacker, March 11th, 2004.
I thought you were going to say Adam Frankenstein.
I know. I did it on purpose.
I've been being these girlies' grandma for 40 years now.
Did you know I was a grandmother?
He's like the ship of Theseus. He's just replaced parts of himself until he's a woman.
He's just a grandma now. Yeah.
Believe it or not, this is my final entry. I don't mean I've gotten a real job and I'm finally going to stop pissing away my savings on ghost hunting. I don't even mean I'm going to retire. What I mean is that tomorrow, I'm going to die.
What?
They'll list the cause of death as wheeling too hard and too drunk down the middle of Mardi Gras parade in my underwear. Which is pretty goddamn rad, but it won't be the whole truth. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get laid before at least 3 or 4 times, too. But there's more to this story. The spirit told me that the only way to save the soul of my sister was to give up my own life. To leave this mortal coil on the spirit's terms, not my own. And I have no choice but to accept. Even knowing the loophole that could have saved us both. And maybe I should start at the beginning. My mother trained me to use the candle when I was 16. That's not normally the appropriate age. We're supposed to wait until the next bearer is 18 for the candle to change hands. But my sister Ellie had died that summer. Something about the grief made Ma weary of the whole charge, I think. But my Ma had done something no other bearer of the candle had ever done before. I don't know whether it was on purpose or just a fluke. But it wouldn't come back to haunt her. She died in 81. But it would certainly come back to haunt me eventually. I got a friend.
She died in Nam.
I got a call from in 81. She was just visiting Nam at the time.
She was just on vacation.
Yeah.
I got a call from a friend of mine, Millie May, who acts as kind of a spotter for me sometimes. She has the gift natural, no candle necessary, and can sense the trapped spirits as well as anyone. She and I messed around in girls' school a little bit, but I didn't want to drill bit to the frontal lobe, so we didn't tell anybody.
Oh my god!
That's
like the second appalling dark joke.
That's a late confession, I guess. Nana? Peggy whispered, confused. Sure, Chris interrupted, then both continued. Millie May told me of an old man who died in his bathtub up by Springer Mines a couple counties over. I loaded up the Harley and a set of playlists of the classics. Foghat, ZZ Top, the greats. And I puttered on up there. I didn't expect much of it. A quick blessing and a drained or something. And the old bastard would be drying his wet cheeks by the pearly gate after that. But I was mistaken. When the candle lit, the old man's spirit was wild and violent and called up the water and the winds at me. Now, I've seen plenty of shriveled old man dick with 2-foot-long balls in my time, but this was a horrible sight to behold. He was like something out of a Twilight Zone episode. The 90s one with the special effect budget, not the one with Rod Serling's sexy ass in it. He was bound, he said, by a final wish that he never got to fulfill, to see that his wife had ever gotten over him dying. I obliged his wish by contacting his bereaved missus to find out. I finally got a hold of her after playing phone tag here and there in Cancun at some sort of a nudist fuck commune.
Yep.
She had been waiting for the old shithead to die for years, it turned out. Now, to his credit, the old spirit seemed fine with this, as he revealed he'd been playing hide the salami with the plumber's wife next door for years. His drowning in the tub suddenly seemed a lot more suspect to me, but I wasn't in the business of giving spirits more unfinished business, so I kept my mouth shut. But before he departed, something caught his eye in the flickering green flame of the candle. He seemed horrified, shocked, appalled. All those words a writer finds in a thesaurus and then busts a nut about in a short story for a podcast. I asked him what he saw, and he revealed to me what was hidden within the candle this entire time. For over 50 years, My sister Ellie's spirit danced in the flames. I stared with wide eyes as she finally recognized me and smiled a distant, pained smile from within. I had been helping dead people across to the other side for most of my life, and my own sister had been trapped here because of me? I couldn't bear to face it. I tried to maintain composure, but just wept. The old spirit told me, as he floated between this world and the next, that my mother hadn't been able to let go of Ellie when she died. The candle, a magnet for the spirit world that leads each bearer to the next spirit in need of aid, could just as easily trap a spirit within its magnetic pull if it was wished upon it.
Sweet. That's awesome. I want that to happen to me.
I couldn't tell you why this horny old goat was suddenly a sage among sages, but perhaps finally crossing over gives you the clarity of wisdom that eludes you in life.
Post-nut clarity.
Nevertheless, he offered me a solution, a soul for a soul, a life for a life. Only I could give up what could break the magnetic hold of the candle over my wisp of a sister's soul. I didn't know how, so I asked him. He also didn't know how, and was getting a little impatient at having to solve all my problems when he was this close to the afterlife finally, so I told him to go fuck himself once he got there and set out to find my own answers.
Fair.
You can learn a lot in a book. I'm sure that's the 1,000,000th time I've written that in these pages. From how to replace a drive shaft on a 67 Chevy to how to cure the clap. Books have come to my aid more times than I can imagine.
Yeah, get some penicillin.
Alright, even I'm starting to get weirded out by all this grandma sex stuff, Chris interrupted. I'll let my therapist deal with it later if I can't repress it. Let's just finish, Peggy added.
Healthy.
Some of the books I've collected on spirituality and the dead are absolute garbage, written by morons who are afraid of their own shadow, projecting their insecurities onto people who can no longer fight back. Ironically, Dan Aykroyd tends to be pretty on the money with his ideas on spirituality. Go figure. Anyway, in an old tome by a man named Abdul Al-Azred, there was answers to my queries. I suddenly knew the ritual to splinter my soul, to allow my sister free and to go beyond this world, to finally cross over after 50 years a prisoner between life and death. But I also knew the workaround, a cheat sheet for those who danced amongst the flames of damnation themselves.
That's me.
By utilizing a piece of two souls, one soul can be freed, and both people can remain living and as whole as they ever would be otherwise. But I had spent 50 years by myself. That was how it was done. The eldest was given the candle, and they were responsible for the work until they could pass it on to their eldest. I had no partner to save me. The ritual's done now. I saw the method of my own death, and there's no escaping it. I've chosen now to give the candle to a new, younger generation. My eldest daughter is basically in a cult, and my younger daughters are both morons of other colors, so I've chosen to give the candle to my granddaughters, Christy and Peggy. The two are inseparable and love one another so much. I know they will be able to undo what I've had to do to save Ellie. They can set my soul free from the flame, together, and remain unburnt by its green light.
Jesus,
Signed,
Grandma.
Jeannie Marie Rickenbacker, March 2004.
She's a genie too?
I think that's
Nana.
their word. It's gin.
Oh, with the D, like Django.
Nana, Peggy whispered out, rubbing a small tear from her cheek. She traded places in the candle with her sister? She's been trapped in there for a year now, waiting for us to figure this all out? Chris said with disbelief, staring into the green flame dancing on its wick before her. There's a note in here, Peggy cried out, turning the last page over and finding a small note taped to the backside of the page. She quickly took it off with a scratchy snap of the tape and unfolded it at once. Scrawled in wavering ink by an unsteady hand in the middle of the page were two sentences. The first read, "Hold hands, my loves." Peggy smiled at Chris, who rolled her eyes and shoved her hand out in front of her. Peggy took it and held the green candle aloft between them over the paper to read the second. The words began, "Say out loud." And the two girls' voices, perfectly in sync, did just that at once. Param, Solek, Tojuvenus, Anterbach, Santak, Pargon. The flame
to Barada Nikto.
The flame of the candle erupted straight up into a beam, which pierced harmlessly and silently through the roof of the attic the two girls were knelt in, sending a wave of force out from the candle which threw back their hair and ruffled their clothing violently, both of them holding as tightly onto one another and the candle as possible. The entire room was bathed in a blinding green light which began to shine bright enough to blot out all vision for the girls, a deafening silence coating them which seemed like 1,000,000 decibels, but was none. And within the streak of green from the candle's wick stood Nana Rickenbacker. Her leather jacket fitted perfectly to her shoulders, and a smile on her aged features. She ran a hand through her long gray and white hair, and then held it aloft to wave at them, tilting her head as she did. On one heel she spun, and began to walk away, disappearing into the bright green haze after only one step. And then all was as it had been. The two girls were knelt in a dark closet, no longer brightly lit by the green candle's flame, as it had now completely snuffed. The low sun of dusk was peeking over the windowsills behind them, and acted as the only source of light for them then. The two girls smiled at one another, their hands falling apart. They turned their eyes down to the page in front of them. Scrawled at the very bottom, in now perfectly legible, solid and unwavering handwriting, were the words, "Thank you. Better late than never." They couldn't help but laugh together then, closing the book and placing it on the floor between them. "Girls, dinner's ready!" a haggard woman's voice called up the stairs, and was almost instantly followed up with, "Get your fucking asses down here before I wrap them around your heads!" "Mom's calling," Chris said with a start. She chuckled again as she stood up and held a hand down to Peggy to help her up. "I guess we're stuck together now, huh? Each of us has part of our soul in that thing." Peggy slipped the candle in its holder out of the pedestal and reverently slipped it into her backpack, tossed the strap over her shoulder, and took Chris's hand, standing up herself. "I'm so glad we have each other." The two girls headed for the door side by side to head for dinner. "Yeah, fuck being trapped in a candle for 50 years, Chris exclaimed as the two disappeared down the stairs. The viewpoint then slowly turns around the room, past the books and chairs and boxes and knickknacks, and back to the open closet. Only an empty wire hanger sways back and forth inside where Nana Rickenbacker's prized leather jacket was once hung. The end.
Aww.
That was beautiful.
That was good.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I, in the middle of the story, was like, oh, didn't they get the candle from their grandma?
No, that's good. That's good, like, reminder for the audience. I appreciated that, actually.
Rich is like my mom. What's happening in the movie?
Who is that?
It's like the first time. Who's this? Oh my god.
Do you remember when this thing happens that you're going to reference in about 5 seconds?
I don't know, Rich!
I remember when I said to Josh, when he was at the climax of one of the series, and I said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they were in split timelines? And you were like, shut up, Rich!
God damn it, Space Rich.
Rich just yelling at the screen. That's Han Solo!
Oh my god, he's the killer!
He's been dead the whole time!
I think besides a couple one-off your mom jokes and a few curse words and some references to unsavory things, I like to write a Candle Cousins story like it could actually be a children's book for the most part.
Yeah. It could, I mean, it definitely could be like, I mean, besides some of it could be like a preteen book,
Yeah.
which change anus hole to like, I don't know.
Delicious dinner. Your mom's delicious dinner. I put my rigid dork into your mom's delicious dinner.
It works for American Pie.
Yeah, true. I really like the Candle Cousins. Whenever you do that,
Yeah, me too.
I was convinced you were going to tie this to Adam Frankenstein somehow.
You are so hung up on Adam Frankenstein being tied into my other stories somehow.
I was in Vietnam giving this old broad some back shots.
The problem with that is if I ever reference Adam Frankenstein as being in a modern story, it deflates all of the danger of his stories happening in the 40s.
Well, he's never
30s,
gonna
I'm
die.
really worried about Frank.
They're happening in the
He's never
30s.
gonna die.
Well, now I'm gonna
He's not
kill
even
him.
alive.
Well, now I'm gonna kill him.
Good.
It's your guys' fault.
My plan is complete.
Fucking dare you.
I fucking dare you to kill your most popular character,
Yeah.
idiot.
You won't do it.
You won't do it.
Pussy.
You're right. Or will I? Nah, you're right.
No. Yeah, that was
We've
good.
gone too far.
Or is Pavlov Flinch my most popular character? I don't know.
What's the difference? They're both husks of rotting meat.
I would say one is famous and one is infamous. There's a
True.
distinct difference there.
It's true.
It's rare that a story in Storylords ends so wholesomely.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm not gonna follow that shit. This sucks.
We've had 2 walk into the sunset type stories as well so far. So I can only imagine Josh is going to do a lovely happy ending for his as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I believe it.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We have one part left, so we're going to head over to Daranos.
It was really normal getting here, by the way, everybody. It was a very normal time.
Totally not passive aggressive at all.
No.
It's part 3 of the podcast. Some of my fellow podcast mates don't know that. But we're
part
going
It feels like part 1 million at this point. I will say that.
But we're going to head over to Daranos for a promised happy ending into the sunset podcast episode of Daranos: The Next Generation.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. My story is called Picket Impaled Fences.
Oh.
Nice.
This episode of Daranos is brought to you by our sponsor, Batbull Cola. Don't just sit there. Try a Batbull Cola.
Such a good tagline.
It says the Laverne and Shirley theme. Schlemiel, Schmolotov, Dr. Pepper Incorporated. Fucking and screwing. Give us crack, let's dance and get naked. Make you drool like you're looking at Steak Kid. We're gonna make your creams come true. Screwing in hallways. Turn around and show your crack now. Not that crack, your other crack now. We're gonna make your spleen come too. Ass to mouth always.
Wow.
Uncle Grunkle? Uncle Dunkle Grunkle? You gotta get up! Demi's voice echoed in Gunk's groggy-ass mind. He rolled over and moved the blanket over his head to drown out the sound of an annoying child trying to wake him up. If only they made soundproof blankets. Uncle Gunk! Get up! It's XXXmas! Demi shouted
no.
as she jumped onto the bed. Gunk sighed and threw his arm over to his right in a vain attempt to make the blanket soundproof and somehow now jump-proof. As he did, his arm grazed over skin. Soft skin. Gunk opened his eyes and was met with the greenest eyes he'd ever seen. It was Axe Wound. And her titties were out, too. Did I mention that? Because you can't just start with that. I didn't mention that because you can't just start with that. But damn, boy, they were out. Like, blam! Full frontal, PG-13 ass milkers. Good thing the blanket was covering them things, because goddamn.
It's like I'm there.
Evocative. Good morning, Axe said with a genuine smile. What? How? Gunk stumbled over himself, but then he looked down and saw the titties. I told you not to have so much egg grog last night, silly, she said. She moved her hand and moved a wisp of beard out of Gunk's lips and planted a small loving kiss on them. He could smell her red flaming hair. It smelled like coconuts and incense. Xmas, let's get presents! Xmas, let's get presents! Demi was now chanting and doing the ride the train motion from that Quad City DJs video.
Come on and ride.
Train. Okay, we're getting up, Axe said, popping her head out of the blanket and tossing a small pillow at Demi. It hit her lightly on the head as she fell over and acted mortally wounded. You got me, she said as she started fake death rattling. Blood and brains, blah, blah, she said as she pretended her arteries were shooting out blood from a fake head wound. Young lady, what did I tell you about pretending to have a serious head wound? Axe scolded. Demi rolled her eyes. That if I'm going to verbalize my mortal wounds, I need to add more accurate and visceral bone cracking and snapping sounds, she said in a monotone. Very good. Now go get your sister and go sit by the tree and fire, Axe said as she shooed Demi out of the room. Gunk was monumentally confused. He didn't remember this at all, but he also didn't remember what he should remember. He rubbed his temples. Maybe Axe was right. He did feel hungover, even though dwarves could probably drink something like 40 gallons of egg grog and not get tipsy. His head felt like he had drank 40 gallons of turpentine instead. Slowly, he made his way down the wooden hallway. The log cabin was covered in relics and magical artifacts, both ancient and modern. Swords, wow. Swords.
I like the word better that way.
Swords and axes, along with ancient tomes and scrolls, scattered placards and bookshelves. Gunk could smell a fresh wood fire being burned in a fireplace. He could smell the cold of winter and feel the warmth of the hot tea that was sitting on a table next to his chair. His chair. Axemoon sat down daintily and patted Gunk's seat, gesturing that he should sit. Demi appeared with a small toddler in her arms, with a fake beard and bright green eyes covered by wispy light blonde hair. Demi, take off the fake beard. Your sister doesn't need beard hair in her mouth first thing in the morning, Axe said. Look, Bunk. Sorry, little Bunk. You just want to look stoic for your present opening, don't you? Don't you, little cutie, Demi said, as the baby giggled and grabbed at Demi's own hair. Demi, Axemoon sighed. Her name isn't Bunk. Baby Gunk, Demi said defensively. Her name is Hatchet, and you know this.
Hatchet,
How would you like it if she started calling you Demi Demon or Raging Demi or Dodge Demi 426 with Hearst carburetor and 4 on the floor?
Just rolls off the tongue, that one.
All of those are pretty badass, so yeah, go right ahead, Bunk, Demi said. The toddler laughed in agreement. Axe smiled but looked sternly at the two girls. Sorry, Dommy Mommy, Demi said wryly. Gunk grabbed his tea and rubbed the remaining sleep from his eyes. He took a sip. His eyes shot open and at the hot flavor hitting his tongue. Chimera, he shouted, looking over at Axe. Your favorite, Axe told him. After a few hours of opening gifts and general merrymaking, Gunk had held one last present. He shook it playfully and pretended not to know what it was. Okay, Demi. Okay, Demi. Gotta do the voice. Okay, Demi, I think you should open this one, he said, smiling. Handing the small box to her. She grasped for it and excitedly ripped open the thin paper, all while prying open the lid of the box to find a candle. Ooh, a magic candle, she said. Is it connected to the life force of my enemies? Can it control whether someone is tethered to this physical realm or whether their soul is adrift in the nebulous void for all eternity? She questioned excitedly. Gunk laughed. No, but it is magic. Every dwarf family has a candle similar to this. Once lit, the flame can never be extinguished. It's the symbol of, love or faithfulness or whatever stuff you want.
Whatever stuff you want.
Demi gently placed the candle onto the hearth and went to grab a stick to light the fireplace to light into the fireplace to light the candle. Axe said, stopping her. Use your spells. Demi sighed and concentrated. She flicked her wrist, snapping her fingers and doing a finger guns. On the tip of her index finger was a small flame, which she used to light the candle. All right, who wants to go to the market and spend some loot? Axe shouted while standing up. Suddenly, the cabin door sprang open. Standing there was a 7-foot-tall Ant-Man. D'Antonio, good morning. Merry XXXmas, Axe said, going over to greet him. A loud applause sound echoed throughout the house. Oh, yeah, he said. Okay, Gunk said, looking around confused. Sorry, Uncle Gunk. I was just teaching Hatchet the sarcastic comedy applause spell, Demi said, doing it one more time. I know that's right, Dan said, giving up the claws. Okay, well, we're going to go to the market. If you want anything, just help yourself. We'll be back soon, Axe said, patting Dan on the shoulder. A second later, the family was out the door, leaving Dan standing alone in the darkness. I'm so alone, he said as a laughter spell fired off from somewhere inside the house. Axe carried Hatchet and a small baby Bjorn on her chest. Yes, she was also now wearing a shirt, you fucking perverts. Just like she was in the cabin. Get a grip, you horny gooners. Look, you made me say a Gen Z thing. That's how angry I am at you, you fucking D-Gen Coomer dorklingers.
Although, wouldn't she suffocate a baby potentially with those sweater meat that she's got?
I mean, it's kind of like being suffocated in like a buffet for a baby.
That's true. That is true.
Gunk was wearing almost regal garments, and Demi was swinging around a particularly sword-like stick she had found.
Sword.
As they walked through the market stalls, many greeted them warmly. A Catwoman even gave him a high five for some reason, so that was cool. Axe stopped at an alchemist and was browsing potions. Across the way, Gunk saw a small coffee shanty and decided to grab something for the cold. As he entered, he smelled the smells of long-lost coffee civilizations like Brazil and Folgers, wherever that was.
Brazil canon to Darren style.
Well, of course they've got to be, because everyone's got Brazilians, I assume, right? That's how they prepare themselves.
It's like Game of Thrones. Everyone's perfectly fucking trimmed. What can I get you, Sir Gunk? The orc said as cheerfully as he could muster. I'll take a bagel, plain bagel, Gunk said. Reaching into his coin sack for a gold piece. I've seen you in here before, and usually you get the everything bagel, the orc said matter-of-factly. Okay, Gunk said, staring at him. It's just that, I mean, far be it from me to question your order, but how the hell are you gonna tell me that once you've had the sheer flavor torrent that is an everything bagel, that you could just drop that cold turkey and get a plain bagel? The orc rambled. I'll also take a coffee, Gunk said, but was again interrupted by the orc. Look, man, I don't know you or your backstory or whatever, but I just can't believe that you, a man I've seen come in here almost every day for 5 years and order these magnificent everything bagels, would suddenly come in one day and order the blandest, most white-ass bagel that the gods cursed upon this Daranosian earth. Everything bagel.
The fucking word count is getting up there, baby.
Everything bagel got onions, my dog. Onions! And the top of the plain bagel is like a slippery and looks wet, but it ain't. It's like eating a Philly soft pretzel that you found in the gutter at the vet, but worse. At least those have a nice piss tinge to them. Gunk stared at the orc. He may have had a point, but now Gunk was definitely ordering the plain bagel with as much oppositional defiance as a Rich Masters.
I was thinking as you were saying it, I would do exactly the same thing. Even if he had convinced me that the other thing was right. Don't fucking question me, a person who's going to take my money.
Don't question Rich Masters, the perfect man who never has made a mistake.
No, absolutely.
Even if he just misspoke and said plain bagel and meant everything bagel, Rich is going for the plain bagel at this point.
Exactly. What bagel? Who cares? Just not the one you said.
Now I want a muffin, bitch.
Yeah. Just pour some coffee directly down my throat.
He went to turn and leave when, out of the corner of his eye, he saw the order orc glitch. Like the orc skipped like a Discman that wasn't on anti-skip. Gunk stopped cold and slowly turned his head. The orc was now just staring at him. On the counter, the gold coin sat. Gunk turned away again as the order orc reached for the gold coin and absorbed it into his hand. A shiver ran up his spine as he smiled at Gunk. "Enjoy your plain-ass bagel, you fucking sick son of a bitch," he said as Gunk left.
I will.
Rich is taking this really.
And he would enjoy about half of it and then be like, "Why didn't I just get the fucking?"
It's the onions, man. It's the onions. You gotta get it. It's so good. I've been eating a lot of everything bagels lately, as you can tell.
Really?
I wouldn't have known.
It's called good writing, gentlemen.
Drawing from
I wouldn't know
experience.
anything about the.
Far imitates life.
Back at the cabin, Gunk sat with Axe Wound on the couch. Demi was playing with Hatchet on the floor and explaining how capitalism is in itself a crime. So therefore, her stealing from the market isn't a crime, but justice. Axe smiled as she listened in. Gunk, however, was transfixed on the fire of the candle on the hearth. It flickered wrong. It looked slower. The flame looked flat. Was this how all dwarven hearth candles looked? It had been a while since he had seen his parents' own candle, but no, they were just normal candles, right? Weren't they?
No.
"Did Antonio eat any of the spiced meats in the magical freeze cube?" Gunk asked, trying to snap himself out of it. "No, he only ate our jar full of sugar as per usual," Axe said. Axe sighed contentedly. "All right, my bearded babe, I'm going to bed," she said. "Don't stay up too late." She leaned down and whispered in his ear, "Make sure you come to bed soon. I can't get enough of that hairy beef snake in your pantaloons."
Jesus fuck.
"I've often thought about retiring from the evil adjacent / meddling business and just taking that hog pipe of yours to Cumsville every day. But how would we get money? I don't care. That trophy-sized pants wrench you got would keep me blissfully unawares of any and all distractions. You know how like a rectangle is just a chody square? Yeah. Well, there's got to be a name for that gut trowel, such as yours, that's equally as thick and as long. Maybe like sex tangle or rom bust inside me. We'll workshop it. And by
Leaned over doing this the entire time.
And by workshop, I mean we're gonna fuck, she whispered. Gunk was only half listening. The flame of the candle was now haunting him. Soon, Demi put Hatchet to bed and the room was silent save for the final crackles of the fire as it died down. But there sat the candle, still forever burning. Its flame sped up and slowed down. It flicked in the drafty cabin room and yet stood entirely still. The reflection of the impossible candlelight flickered in Gunk's eyes. He hadn't blinked in minutes, maybe hours. "Nice candle," a voice said from somewhere. Gunk shot up and looked around. He saw nothing but the pristine cabin. Great, now I'm hearing things. Time for bed," he said, sitting up. "Yes, go to bed with your lovely wife. This kind of life is enough to make any being jealous. You're a lucky man, Gunk," the voice reassured. Gunk fell down back in his seat. He was looking around for anyone or anything. Was this one of Demi's weird prank spells? No, she was in bed, and if she wasn't asleep, she'd be up pretend fighting or adventuring. "Ah, yes, the little girl. You love her like your own daughter, and she loves you just as much. Shame to leave all that," the voice said. Gunk rubbed his eyes and opened them. There on the couch sat next to him was Duncan. Dunk! What? How the hell?" Gunk stammered. "I know I'd hate it if any man took this life away from me. My friends, my family, my best friend," Duncan said as he slowly turned his head to face Gunk. In his eyes was a faint glow, like cat's eyes in the dark. Maybe, Duncan thought, Maybe I should just go upstairs and murder that witch of a wife of yours. Gunk tried to raise his fist. He clenched it. The skin on his hand bled from his fingernails. Make you watch as I go and invert that little girl's brain pan. Paint the walls with all of her dreams and fears. Gunk tried to stand, but he could not. Duncan spun a pistol in his hand. And the baby? Well, I could sell her. Or, I always wanted to be a dad. The rage in Gunk was now seething out of his clenched teeth as foam and spittle sprayed from his mouth. He couldn't talk or move. He looked at the flame of the candle. His family, he yelled in his head. Uncle Gunk, wake up! You have to wake up! Demi shouted. Gunk's eyes slowly moved to the hallway where her room was. He tried his best to scream to her, tried to warn her, tried to move. Uncle Gunk, get up! Get up! She yelled. Gunk's eyes slowly moved back to the flame of the candle. It looked bigger now. It moved faster and faster and faster. It was like a fever dream watching the candle move and slow down. Get up now! Demi yelled. And then Gunk woke up. In front of him, Demi was inside the ramshackle hut they had taken refuge in. She was wielding her flame sword faster and faster and faster. Outside, red ant-men were tossing torches and flaming arrows onto what remained of the roof of the shack. Gunk's fists were already balled up, although he didn't feel the skin he had felt, but the cold steel of his mechanical arms. He moved to get out of bed, where he began to vomit bile and gold, dry heaving the last of the cursed substance from his body. It felt like he threw up his own testicles, but he managed to get up. Outside, Demi sliced an ant-man in half as he curdled into two heaps on the ground, his mandibles chittering together but separate. From behind, the only thing Demi could sense was a swift motion and a blur. Gunk was now running and buried his axe deep within the skull of one of the scorps the ants were riding. It bucked from the hit and tossed the rider forward. Gunk reached out with his free hand and grabbed the ejected ant-man. With one arm, he hacked away at the meat puddle that used to be the scorp's head, and with the other, he gripped the ant-man's neck, bringing its face near to his. Gunk screamed into the ant's face, spraying spit and hate. He urged his mechano arms to grip tighter and tighter, and soon the only thing holding the ant-man's head onto his neck was a few stringy strands of some kind of muscle or tendon and viscous pulped meat. The ant-man clicked its last as it fell to the ground. Demi walked over to Gunk and placed a hand on her back. He jerked around faster, throwing the dead ant-man. Demi didn't flinch. Let's go kill every one of these clickers, Gunk said. To be continued.
Holy shit. It was... I don't want you to take offense to this. It was super obvious what was going on, but I enjoyed it so much. Like, because of that, when you use that mechanism, right, that sort of like Tony Soprano's in bed recovering from a gunshot wound, and you use that sort of dream world, you have to get it like spot on for it not to be super cliche, and it was really good.
Josh, I want you to know, like, I don't want you to take offense to this or anything, but that was doo-doo garbage from a butt, but I loved it. It was really good.
It was the plain bagel of this episode.
No, that was fucking, like... I appreciate getting a look inside of Gunk's mind. We've seen him from, like... We've really followed his fall, but we've never really, like, been with him in it. And it was really nice to see what he's going through right now.
Yeah, I wanted to, like, get characters in the same spot, but they can't be, right? So you gotta figure out ways to do that. And, like, it almost makes, like, Axe Wound also more tragic, because, like, she's not like that.
Yeah, she's not what he wants. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but, like, he's like, what if I could have that? But, like, he never will, right?
Like, the two of them are star-crossed in, like, a real way. Like, they both have these feelings for each other, but both of them want the other one to change for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's just not how a relationship works. Also, that, like, Axe Wound's an insane murder lady.
But did you see those titties, though?
I didn't see them, but I pictured them in my mind.
I felt
I could find a picture for you of some. It's here, tendy.gif.
Oh, green. I see.
You're such a dick.
Let's look. It was like, I want to see some titties.
It's right up in front of me. I've got 3 windows open. I've got my story, the
One
Audacity,
specifically
and
for Tendy.gif.
and it just popped up in front of me.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I
it was great.
missed being incriminated. I was making an unfunny joke when it happened, so I'm free and clear.
Oh man. Yeah, this was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what to do, so I just wrote like
No,
I
it's
kind of
great.
knew like
I
like-
wouldn't have pegged it as you not knowing what to do at all.
Yeah.
Like I thought that this was like a really great interlude in what's happening that shows us a little bit of like I said, like a inside of a character's mindset and how they're feeling and how they're dealing with it. Which
we
is,
gotta show them what they like and what they want, right?
Yeah.
Before it all comes crashing down on them. And
you have to show your character's motivation, and I think this is a really great way to show that. Because, like I said, we've sort of lost touch with what Gunk wants because he's lost touch with it. And
yeah, he's kind of been on like a whipping boy lately.
yeah.
Well,
And
also,
like coming back and seeing it from his eyes and everything makes it way more real for us, the audience.
Also, you're like we're approaching. We're like up to the 3/4 or 2/3 of the season being done or whatever. But we're approaching the end, right? And if you don't slow down and reconnect with the characters, the ending doesn't mean anything.
Rich, I love that you think that I think about this.
You
I
do
love that you
subconsciously.
have- No, I do kind of.
He
but
thinks about it.
I'm more.
Thinks
I
about
mean,
them
obviously.
titties.
Guys, I just wanted to write about titties, alright?
I think you do. It's just you don't rigorously plan like me and Jeff do. Well, I'd say
I'm definitely planning.
you plan, but you don't plan. I think there's a spectrum of planning on the podcast, and I think we know.
Oh, we're on
James
a
Interesting.
spectrum, all right. The three of us.
So we're on several spectrums.
several.
I think what's crazy about like this show as opposed to just maybe some other show that I've done prior to this, I don't know, may
whatever,
or may not,
whatever that is. Yeah.
is that this definitely makes me think a lot more, but I also kind of like want to have that chaos, like, and honestly, like I think my main like favorite thing to like I wish that I was as good as is like Venture Brothers, right? Because they did the same shit where they were like, we're just gonna do this now, you know?
Yeah, there's like when it comes to this show and maybe not previous shows, I'm not gonna say which ones. The fact that you do create these like more in-depth characters and stories and stuff makes the chaos that you create from it way more chaotic.
Yeah, I think
Like
so too.
you get comfortable in the like non-chaos that's being like fed at the beginning, and when shit goes completely off the rails, it hits you like a freight train instead of you expecting it so much.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
like how do you like live in this crazy world and then somebody actually dies and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like shit, right? Like
How
and they don't turn into a skeleton.
how I feel about this episode is weirdly like. Do you remember the Game
The
of
movie
Thrones
Jumanji?
last? No, the last series of Game of Thrones where they were heading towards like that battle with the Night King, and
You're not giving me confidence here with that.
No,
Where are you
because
going with that?
Because I think the best episode of that season is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms one, which is where Brienne of Tarth gets knighted, and they're all having their conversations in the castle.
Yes, they're all. It's just the waiting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is probably the best episode.
It's
yeah.
probably the only good episode of that season.
The series could have like ended
Yeah.
with that if
and
they all died or something.
this has those sorts of vibes. Like shit is going on everywhere around everyone, but like this is sort of like a breather, even though it's like a fantasy breather in someone's head. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
you gotta. No, I think that's a compliment. I like that. Look, I am extremely self-confident.
Couldn't even finish it. Couldn't even finish saying it.
No,
No, No, I appreciate it. Thank you. That's very nice.
I also thought it was like a good thing.
Yeah, I know.
A different good thing. That was
I know you
really
did, buddy.
good.
I know.
Part 3.
What part is it?
Thank God it's part 3. Right?
We got to record an afternoon.
You're not wrong. What?
I feel like you're me. What? What do we gotta do?
Oh, man. Right. With that, I suppose we better close the cover on this week's stories. Right, let's see what we've got here. The first prompt is Scrolls by...
We had scrolls.
We haven't had Scrolls, surely.
We have to have had scrolls.
Look, I'm writing it down. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
And then that's by Jake Harker. Thanks, Jake. And then
Thanks,
the
Jake.
second one is Courtrooms by Mr. Torso. It's gonna be an interesting one.
I'm just gonna have the character read a bunch of like scrolls in a courtroom.
Well, you're covered. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna fit my main storyline into these, but we'll figure it out.
I was hoping to finish off.
Frankenstein. Objection, Your Honor. I'm a fucking monster.
I was hoping to finish off one of the many stories I've opened, but I guess we'll be not doing that next week.
Your Honor, the laws really apply to me. A bunch of dead bodies sewn together.
And as part woman, this is sexual harassment.
Also, my left arm is from a black guy, so
Hate crime? Question mark?
racism.
The story writes itself, dude. I don't know what the problem is.
Oh man. Right. So there we go. Scrolls and Courtrooms. So, if you want to support the show, then you need to head over to patreon.com/storylords and support us there. For $5, you get access to the Discord, you get the chance to submit prompts, you get access to one monthly sidecast that we do called Afterlords. If you support us for $10, you get access to another sidecast, which is variable. Lots of different ones we do, like Cunt Rushmore, another Afterlords, in layman's terms, and what's the other one we do? Redesigned by committee.
That's it.
Which I did have an idea for, but we can't do them on the fly. And we also had another idea for them another couple of weeks ago.
I'm super smart. I could do it right now. Put titties in it. There you go.
Boom. I'll accept it.
For $25, you get all that. Plus, you get what did we decide on? It was a quarterly hang session with us, which we're going to do, hopefully, the weekend of the...
It's the weekend this comes out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to get super drunk during that, so that'll be fun.
For somebody.
But yeah, this time we're gonna do some Jackbox games, and anyone at the Masterpieces level, the $25 level, can come in and join us and try and tell funnier jokes.
Other people can watch, but only Masterpieces tier people can hang out and join the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to make me drink more. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna get drunk as well. I've decided that. If you're getting drunk, I'm getting drunk, man.
Fuck it.
What are you going to drink? I already know what I'm drinking.
I guess I'll do rum and coke the whole night.
I'm going
That sounds good.
Get some lovely ale, and I'm going to drink it, and it's going to be ice cold,
Oh
man.
my god, you British fuck. It's tequila or nothing.
I'm not doing shots.
Why not?
Jelly shots is what we're going to be doing.
Because I'll get very sick, and I'm too old to have a hangover now, Josh.
You know, here's the thing. I thought that, and then I found tequila, and apparently in another life, I was a Hispanic
Tequila
man
god.
who just drank tequila and fished all day or something. I don't know.
What a beautiful life, actually.
Well,
right?
I mean, we can't both be that lucky, dude. We can't both be the gods of tequila.
Why not? Not with that attitude.
That's true. I never thought of it like that.
What is the date of the game?
September
9th?
5th or 6th?
It's 5th.
5th.
No, it's the 6th.
No.
It's Saturday. Yeah.
September
So it's
6th.
Saturday, September 6th.
Time
at,
to be
7.
decided. 7 p.m.
7 Eastern time.
Eastern time.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Rich will be drunk in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Rich, it's gonna be like 2 in the morning, man.
Maybe I'll start drinking early. I'll show up drunk.
Oh yeah, shots, tequila.
If you want to absolutely obliterate Rich at this Jackbox game,
You're gonna have to wake up on Sunday and be like, I need brunch.
And then for the top 2 tiers, which are the Timmy Blackcrest Fund and the Lordly Lord of Lord tiers, you get PFP pictures that you can use for your... I don't know why I said PFP pictures. One of those P's is picture. It's like ATM all over again.
ATM machine.
So you get a
Panera
profile picture of what you're choosing. I've got another one lined up to do for Stephen that I'm keeping secret at the moment. And then for the Lordly Lord of Lord tiers, you get every 6 months you get a free piece of unique merchandise for us.
also full frontal hole.
No, not that hole, the other hole.
Yeah.
Whatever hole you want at that price.
Jeff has said it, so it's definitely true for him now. Storylords is also
I didn't
on
say
YouTube.
my hole.
Oh, that's true. We'll just send you a random picture.
Goatee every year.
Storylords on YouTube now, thanks to John Anderson and Chris Balso. It's auto-loaded up, so you should get it at the same sort of time that this comes out. If for information about the podcast, you can head over to storylords.page or storylords.card.co. Big thanks to Vidison, as always, for the use of his music. What did I call him in the break? The Doots of the podcast. Our own
the
little
dudes
Doots.
of the show, yeah.
And then, as always, I will read out the names of our big Patreon subscribers. They're not
Josh
bigger
Henderson.
in size. So
That's weird.
the Emperor of Patrons, Squid Ludwig.
My liege.
I put Holy Diver here. I hope that's acceptable.
That is.
pretty good.
We've got 3 people up their pledge to Timmy Blackcrest Memorial Fund.
I knew it.
What the fuck?
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Jonathan Anderson. I was not prepared for this. So, John, what can he be? He's the something of patrons.
Well, you know what? John Anderson has also been the guy who uploaded us on YouTube.
Yep.
He's been the guy who supported the show the most from the beginning. I think he's the lord of patrons.
Right, okay. The Lord.
Not the Emperor. He's the Lord.
Yeah.
Because he's
like a Darth Sidious.
like he's working on our level to get our podcast out there by putting it on
true.
YouTube and everything. He's the lord of
Is
patrons.
it too soon to make him propaganda minister?
No, that's perfect.
That's actually really good.
Propaganda Minister of Patrons, Jonathan Anderson. The Law Master of Patrons, Malonite.
Yes.
And the Dark Shadow of Patrons, Sean Tabor.
Nice.
And then, as always, the Concubine of Patrons, Stephen. And then we've got, at the Masterpieces range, we've got Anthony Stoker, Chris Balso, Federico Rodriguez, Gordon Ream, Granola Daniels, Heath Robinson, Jake Anderson, the second Anderson brother, Pez King, Ratty IRL, Rena Kemp, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, Aaron... I nearly went too far. But I am going to give a shout out to Aaron Damerau anyway, who's one of our big patrons, Daruma. And he has been a member. They've been a member since November 3rd, 2022. Long time. I think Aaron was our first patron.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the only people who respond to my Patreon posts on my personal Patreon, so I appreciate the holy shit out of him.
Aaron
He's a dope dude.
Handsome intern of Tapon's Theatre on Subspace as well. He does the first edit for all our episodes. So
Handsome intern.
Handsome intern. So thank you, Aaron, as always. And I think that's it from us. Yeah, if you want to get in on that hang session with us, up your Patreon pledge like some of these guys have, because you're gonna miss out.
You
otherwise.
can give Rich and I alcohol poisoning. That'll be fun, won't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
That's worth $25, isn't it?
I'm gonna regret it, but who cares?
I mean, yeah, no kidding. Fuck it. Nothing matters. Fuck all this,
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't. Who cares anymore?
Who cares about my liver?
Oh, thank you.
What liver, am I right?
They got machines that do that for you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Dialysis? What is this, the Middle Ages?
I mean, I don't want to live until I'm like 70 anyway. Who gives a shit about
But we're
that?
not gonna, so might as well drink today.
The nuclear war that will inevitably happen.
Thanks
Yes,
for
I
tuning
guess I
in,
forgot.
everybody. We appreciate each and every one of you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.